showcasing local talent, professionals, and everyday people making Salt Lake City what it is today. It's time for another episode of the I Am Salt Lake podcast.
I want to welcome everybody out today to episode 227 of I Am Salt Lake podcast. My name's Chris Hollifield.
And I'm Chrissy Shelley.
We have a great episode today. Today on the podcast, I sit down with Peter and Ben from Form of Rocket. Great conversation, finding out about the history of the band, some of the tours they went on, talking about their releases. We also talk about the upcoming Crucialfest shows that they're playing here coming up really quick. We're going to be getting into that here in just a minute. Before we do that, we want to talk about the show sponsors, Oleo Skin and Beard. I know you're a big fan of their products, aren't you, Chrissy?
I am a big fan. I'm such a big fan that I've been buying it and sending it to my siblings.
Yeah, well, what are some of the products you use?
My favorite, coffee scrub and the kelp and clay mask, which have done amazing things for my skin.
Yeah.
They're so great.
Yeah, well, and I would imagine they're good for guys as well.
Seems like it.
Guys without beards, but if you have a beard, check out their beard oil, beard balm, beard wash. Father's Day's just around the corner, June 19th. So you have some time to go check them out at the Downtown Farmers Market. That actually opens up this Saturday, June 11th, right at Pioneer Park. So go check them out. Oleo Skin and Beard is there. You can buy it from them directly. That way you can have it for your pops, for your dad.
It's a great present.
On Father's Day. And if you can't do that, head on over to their website, oleoskin.com. Use the promo code IAMSaltLake. It's going to give you 25% at checkout just for using that promo code. A little bit of a kickback for being a podcast or an I Am Salt Lake podcast listener. I also want to tell you about a brand new podcast called City Stories. This is a great show. What you're going to want to do is search for City Stories in iTunes. It's a great show. Like I said, it's all about helping potential movers understand the cities that they're headed to. And they're starting right here in Salt Lake City. They have a fantastic pilot episode. Really was really cool. Great way to see the city, a great perspective. And some of their upcoming episodes, I know, are going to be, talking about more specific products like the neighborhoods in Salt Lake, the Silicon Slopes phenomenon, also the gay culture here in Salt Lake City. Again, search City Stories in iTunes and subscribe. You can rate and review right there. You can also head on over to soundcloud.com/City Stories. Listen to it right there online. And like I said, help Salt Lake out by giving it a good name, rating and commenting on these episodes. And check them out. Again, soundcloud.com/City Stories. City Stories is produced by move.org. And I want to thank them for sponsoring I Am Salt Lake podcast. Like I said, Crucialfest is coming up. If you haven't bought your tickets or wristband yet, head on over to crucialfest.com. Check out all the information about Crucialfest 6. It's going on between June 15th, June 18th, many different venues throughout Salt Lake City. Go through our back catalog. I've had an opportunity to chat with New Transit, Direction, and Ether. And like I said, on this episode is Form of Rocket. Great conversations. I mean, these are some great bands that are getting back together, playing Crucialfest, along with some other bands, Sabrosa, Theories, Greg Bennick's even going to be there, Baby Girl, Worst Friends. Tons of great music is going to be there. Again, Crucialfest.com. You're going to want to stay tuned for after this episode. Chrissy and myself, we went to the Gay Pride Parade today.
We did, today. It was really fun.
And it was actually your first ever Gay Pride Parade, Chrissy.
It was.
So I want to get into that here. But anyway, before we do that, before we get into that conversation, let's play that interview that I had with Peter and Ben from Form of Rocket. Here it is. I'm going to start out with the typical who's with us today. And what do you play?
Sure. I'm Peter Makowski. I play guitar.
I'm Ben Dodds, and I play the bass guitar.
You play the bass and the guitar. And so who are we missing today? Obviously, we're missing members of Form of Rocket. Mm-hmm. They're not here, so I guess who are we missing?
So with this group of shows, we'll be playing with Curtis Jensen on guitar, electric guitar, and Tyler Smith on drums, and Gentry Densley on guitar as well.
Oh, excellent. Excellent. And I mean, for a history of the band, people listening right now that might not be familiar with Form of Rocket, obviously people listening are going to be old fans, new fans. Who else has been in the band? Is that
Can I take this question?
Yeah, if you want to take this question.
So I played in a band prior to Form of Rocket for 3 or 4 years, and we toured. The band was called Power of Means.
Okay.
The Power of Means. And we toured for 3-4 years prior to starting Form of Rocket. And it went through various incarnations. And we got to a point where the band just seemed like it was something we really, really enjoyed, but it was more of a pain in the ass, to put it bluntly. So we stopped playing. That band was comprised of primarily Eric Bliss and myself. Eric on guitar, vocals. I played bass. And Eric and I, basically, he said, I'd like to try a different instrument. And so he said, I'd like to play drums. And I said, oh, cool. Let's try something different then. And I had a lot of bass. I've been writing bass song ideas that basically lots of the bands that I've been in originate from bass ideas. Not all of them, but a lot of the song ideas originate from bass ideas, and the guitars and the drums dress it up. So with this idea, Eric said, I'd like to do a band called the Form of Rocket. And I said, Form of Rocket? What does that mean? And anyway, we put out some flyers. I said, fine, let's call it Form of Rocket. We put out some flyers for guitar players, and I believe it was the first 2 people to respond to those flyers for starting this new band called Form of Rocket were Peter Makowski and Curtis Jensen. And Form of Rocket was born.
And approximately, like, what year was this? This was like
1999.
1999. So, I mean, that was a while ago.
It was a while ago. Yeah.
And so the band formed. I mean, did you all hit it off right away?
So we originated practicing at the Moroccan upstairs in the loft,
which we were chatting about before.
Just talking about the Moroccan
when I had Ether on, and Eli was talking about the Moroccan, and
so Form of Rocket was birthed at the Moroccan, and
another interesting tidbit. I'm sorry if I digress a little bit.
No.
This conversation. I mentioned that a precursor to Form of Rocket was a band called The Power of Means.
Yeah.
Interesting tidbit. You interviewed Ether recently.
Yeah.
Primary drummer of Ether, in my opinion, James Acton, was also a member for a short time of that band that was a precursor of Form of Rocket, The Power of Means. He played drums for us, and we went on tour and did a few things.
You're also forgetting, though, a major piece of this story where New Transit Direction, who you just met with, both Josh Asher and Dan Whitesides from New Transit Direction were in the original Form of Rocket, which only lasted maybe a show or two, but it was Ben Dodds, Eric Bliss, Josh Asher from New Transit, and Dan Whitesides on drums from New Transit. So, yeah, there's a...
See, and I actually...
We're all incestuous.
No. This is perfect, and I'm glad you guys came in to record when you did, because that's kind of what I'm trying to do with these 3 interviews of these 3 bands that are getting back together to play Crucialfest, is even piece together some of the history of the Salt Lake City music scene. Because, again, like you say, you're all incestuous, where you played music together. You were part of that music scene, late 90s, early 2000, and then here we are today, 2016. It's like, where are you now? Like you see those VH1. where are you now? And no, this will give people a great, you and I, Peter, were talking prior to recording, we were talking about going to Kilby Court shows back then. And I mean, you and I have seen it. There's a lot of new kids that weren't part of it. And they deserve to know some of the history of the music in this city. So I mean, how many years? Okay, and we're going to kind of jump around with the podcast, I'm sure. But how many years did Form of Rocket go till?
So we started in 1999, I believe, and we never. I wouldn't say it ever stopped, really. I mean, we just pick up and play whenever we feel like playing.
So you guys still get together and jam and play?
I mean, a lot of us have moved on. Curtis is currently living in Alaska, and he's teaching. We have other bands and other commitments. Tyler plays in a band called Eagle Twin with Gentry, who is also in the band, and they're working really hard and touring often and recording. Ben and I have other bands that we play in.
What are you playing in now?
So currently we're playing in a band called Accidente, which is playing at Crucialfest.
Excellent.
And then another band called Leverkin, which has been myself.
Yeah, I was
going
to say, why does that name ring a bell? Maybe I've seen.
There's a town in southern Utah, pretty close to Zion.
No, but I've heard. And is that where that name came from? Was that
basically we were trying to think of a way to come up with there's so many interesting place names in the state of Utah. We talked about the idea of having finding an interesting place name in Utah, and I just thought it was funny. Leverkin is a sort of a bastardization of the word La Virgen for the Virgin, and in Spanish. But Leverkin is, we don't want to say La Virgen. It's easier to say Leverkin, so let's say Leverkin. There are other things about that community that are also interesting, but let's not dive too much into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was kind of a little bit of a laugh, and we decided to call it Leverkin, and that band is songs is comprised of songs we're writing to this day as well. Mm-hmm.
So Form of Rocket. Let's get back to Form of Rocket here. You're playing Crucialfest. How did that come about? I want to hear that. Is there any story behind that, or anything how that came about?
So Jerem Bischoff, who organizes, runs, is Crucialfest, plays drums in Accidente with Ben and I.
See, again, this whole town, just everybody.
Yeah. It's Small Lake City.
Yeah, it is. It is small town, and you tend to share band members with each other, especially ones that are talented. It's you like to play. Everyone likes to play with people that are good, or they're people that they're familiar with, and we're all buddies. So
yeah.
But Jerem asked. He said, New Transit is thinking about reuniting for Crucialfest and Ether. Would Form of Rocket be interested? And when he first asked me, I said probably not. We've been asked, every year if we're gonna play some shows, and with Curtis living in Alaska and just everyone's schedules, it's really hard to get it together. Uh-huh. But it just so happens Curtis is getting married this summer, and he will be in town for his bachelor party. We're throwing him a bachelor party, so I thought, wow, maybe this timing will work. So I hit him up. I said, hey, you're coming out already. Crucialfest is right around the time you're going to be in town. Do you want to play some shows? And he said, yes, let's do it. And so we, it's just one of those, rare times where we're all in the same place at the same time. So we figure let's play some shows.
I want to get more into that, but what I want to do is I want to play a song. A Form of Rocket song, and then we'll come back, chat some more. That way it'll give people an opportunity that listen to the podcast that maybe they've never heard you before.
Sure.
And those of us that have, it'll be a fun regardless. I don't know. Is there a song you wanted to play here, Peter?
I think we talked about playing My Name is a Killing Word.
My Name is a Killing Word. It seemed to be always the most popular song that we ever wrote. For whatever it's I guess it's the most easy listening.
It's probably the most accessible,
melodic, accessible song we ever wrote. And we didn't write a lot of accessible melodic songs. That is the closest thing to it.
Is there any story behind the song or any meaning before we play it?
I'm trying to think of meaning. I know that we named it after the phrase from Dune, from the movie Dune.
My Name is a Killing Word. Actually, let's give credit to Eric Bliss for the title, because I believe didn't Eric come up? You came up with the title.
Yeah.
So Peter came up with the title. and then the lyrics of the song were written primarily by you and by Curtis.
Curtis and I, yeah.
Can you tell me about that a little bit?
Curtis wrote it does the majority of the vocals on that song. So he wrote most of the vocals, and like many of our other songs, a lot of it's written, a lot of it's gibberish and and just kind of off the cuff noises. But
there are some neat words in that song from my point of view. Not singing and just hearing some of what Curtis and you had to say. Mm-hmm. Being the bass player, I really never knew exactly if there was a specific thing.
My only real contribution to the song is screaming "Eat a dick," and that's okay. That's all I got.
I want to talk about like the complete discography of the band, but what is there? How can people that are listening? Is there a CD or a record that this song is on?
It's called "Se Puede Despedir a Todos."
Okay. And will it be available at Crucialfest for them to buy, merch-wise?
It will. We'll be re-releasing the album on vinyl, and we will have CDs available as well at the shows. It's a limited run of vinyl. I don't know if we'll do another, but we did want to do a special pressing for these shows since we really don't know when or if we're ever going to play again. It's just we just don't know. So we wanted to make sure that we did something kind of cool for these shows. And so we will have our first record, Se Puede Despedir a Todos, on vinyl available at both shows at Crucialfest. So
I don't know if there's more to talk about. We'll talk about that when we come back after the song, though. I want to talk more about that limited edition vinyl that you're pressing for.
Great.
Anyway, but let's play the song and we'll come back.
He's dead.
Dead? How can you say that?
Because he must be dead. Because it's part of the pattern, the cycle.
That's enough, Stefan. Come on. I will take you back inside. You're a very sick man.
Yes, you should. Yes, I'm sick. Not as sick as some, but sick enough. I won't go back, though. Not yet. I must wait. I'm not sure for what, but I know I must wait for something. Listen.
Did you listen?
Yes. You found him?
Yes.
Yes, I found him.
Father!
I told you. I knew. He had to be dead.
Yes, he had to be dead. I think I knew it too. Knew it was hopeless from the very beginning. How did it happen?
Strangled.
Dying out there in the dark. Two of them killed within a few short minutes, and we still do not know. You mean you know?
Your father and Pa Tom were around here for a long time. They died because Stefan revealed their identity. That means the murderer had to have access to that information.
Feel
I want to talk. Well, maybe there's not much more to talk about the reissue vinyl that you're doing for Crucial Fest. What made you decide to do that?
A friend of ours who has been a big supporter of Salt Lake City music in general, Tyler Coburn, commonly and known as Froburn.
Yeah. Where's he at these days?
He lives in Arizona.
Okay.
He's bartending. Just
Phoenix, right?
Yeah, in Phoenix. Yeah, just living it up. He comes back to town often, and every time I'd see him, he would mention that he would like to put out all of the former Rocket records on vinyl, and we just never took him up on the offer or got around to it, whatever. But we decided to play these shows, so I hit him up and I said, "Hey, we're thinking about maybe just doing the first record on vinyl for these shows. Are you into that?" And we're kind of on a short deadline. This was back in, I want to say it was March, or it was probably late March. And he said, "Yeah, let's do it." So he flipped the bill. He and I coordinated over the next couple weeks, getting kind of the artwork put together and a new mix and a new master. And yeah, he made it happen. And
so how many are there? 200?
We did 250.
Okay, so very limited. Any colors or just black?
No, we didn't have time to get into colors, and I think we're also all broke and we can't afford to get too fancy. But maybe down the line we'll do another run. But 250
is still pretty limited, man.
Yeah, for sure. And again, it's just the availability of funds and what we could afford, and 250 was what we could come up. Well, yeah, what we could come up with.
And I'm sure you got people that are like, mail me one, send me one.
Yeah. Well, we've got a few people, that have hit us up. I know me personally, and it's hard. Yeah, we want to make sure that they're available at the shows for people that come to the shows. It's sort of a special, offering, and thank you for coming to support us after all these years. And we'll make sure that we've got them available first for those that come out to see us play. So
I'm interested to hear how the sound is, since I really wasn't involved in that. But I'm excited to hear it.
Oh, you've had a test pressing for weeks,
but I haven't heard it.
Sounds like a personal problem.
Well, why haven't you listened to it yet?
Yeah,
been busy. Been extraordinarily busy.
Too busy to listen to your own record.
I have a shitty record player and terrible speakers, so that's part of it as well.
Well, that does make when you listen to records, you got to have something decent to play them.
I do.
Otherwise, it just totally ruins the experience. Let's talk about the complete discography, I guess. I mean, just for fun, I guess. I mean, so how many releases have Form of Rocket put out
in total? I want to see. So we had the demo. We had a demo. We had a 7-inch. And then 3 records. So I'd say 5 real releases by just Form of Rocket. So
I'd say 3 real releases and 1 half release.
And why real? Why half? What?
Well, the demo was completely done on our own. I mean, we recorded it in our buddy's house. We handmade all of the jackets for it, and it was just a CDR.
Okay.
I mean, it wasn't anything that we took to a pressing spot. And then the 7-inch that we did, I consider real, but it was also I don't know, a kind of on the fly, very low budget sort of release. The 3 that Ben's referring to were actual full on releases where we actually recorded in a recording studio, and we had them pressed with artwork and everything. So
I feel like that. I'm sorry if I am intruding on your, but anyway, I feel like that a lot of the early stages of Form of Rocket, like many things, were sort of the testing the waters, kind of feeling how things were going to turn out. I always look at things in terms of what it's going to become down the road, all the way to the end. Like, what is this going to be down the road? And I feel like the maturation process from where we started to what the band became by the time we released, I'm going to say Sepuede, was our discovery period, was our growth period. And when we hit Sepuede, the band sort of at the point of that release, the band sort of materialized into what I think is Form of Rocket.
I agree. I think you could consider probably the first two sort of demos, and then say Puede was really our coming out party. So
how real was it? I mean, back at like your prime. I mean, when you were touring and when you were coming out, did you want to take? I mean, did you feel like we made it? We're full-time musicians here.
I don't think we ever got to that point. We all had jobs, and we never were full-time musicians.
But you toured, right? You got to tour the U.S. or no? What?
Yeah. Oh, we toured the U.S. many times. Yeah. But
they were in like shitty vans. It wasn't like fancy tour buses or anything.
I'm sure that if you find out that Curtis and myself and Peter and Tyler, possibly Gentry, have lung cancer at some point, it could be attributed to the van we drove around in with all the carbon monoxide that was pouring directly into the cabin. And some members might say that that's my fault, but anyway, probably not.
It was Ben's fault, and we drove in a few ticking time bombs there for a while, but no, it was not luxurious. It was all on our own dime,
So when you were done with tour, I mean, you were in the hole financially.
Actually, we did well on tour. I would say that we probably, looking at all of them together, I don't know. Actually, I think we probably broke even.
Okay.
We always did really well with merch. On tour, I felt like we were actually very fortunate and lucky. For a while there, we had a booking agent, Stormy Shepard, of Leave Home Booking, who's located in Salt Lake City, and she books Rancid, The Offspring. I can't remember any of the other bands, to be honest with you, but she's a very
Damned.
Yeah, she's a very she booked some pretty substantial bands, and there was a time out there where we were touring with guarantees and a rider where we actually had beer waiting for us and pizza. Well, that's shows.
Were you the type of shows like, I want only, yellow M&Ms in my dressing room?
We could have asked for that and they would have laughed at us and told us to shut the fuck up and get out. But no, I mean, we did have a period there where it was actually very comfortable touring. But
that's what I mean. Did you feel though at that time? I mean, there had to be a little bit of a feeling like I'm a rock star.
No, I think we felt like we were making gains and that we were starting to be successful at what we were doing. But I don't think we ever got to the point where we felt like rock stars or anything like that. I mean, we were opening bills. We were playing to plenty of empty bars and clubs and stuff on the road. We had a lot of work to do. I think in Salt Lake, we felt like we were very well established. I think that we always did really well in Salt Lake, and we felt very fortunate there. But on the road, I mean, man, we were grinding. So
here's an important thing, in my opinion, with regard to setting up a tour and playing shows, booking agents, et cetera, et cetera. We did have a booking agent, Leave Home Booking, and they're a great organization. They're a great little company that works for their bands really hard. They're awesome. But we also realized, I think, that for bands like Form of Rocket, who are not mainstream, who don't fit into pop in any way, shape, or form, pretty much, that it helps to keep it real. When I say that, I mean, if you're contacting people in small towns and bigger towns who like bands that you like, and you tried to connect with people that like your band because they love your music, and they throw a little warehouse party or a house show, and they invite all their friends, they put a band that matters to them with your band because they think it makes sense. Those shows and those tours end up being way more successful than being thrown into a big giant room with bands that you have no business playing with, and that by and large ends up being you playing to a room of a completely unreceptive audience. We dealt with that. We did a tour for 3 weeks with Strung Out.
Oh, the last show, excellent.
The last show, and we played to packed house.
Huge show, probably the biggest shows
every
we've
night
ever played.
For 3 weeks. We had a rider, we had backstage, and we had all the amenities. It was, but by and large, we rarely sold a CD. We made decent money because we were guaranteed that. But at the end of the tour, one of the last shows we played was not with Strung Out. It was just for Form of Rocket at Harry Mary's in Des Moines, Iowa. And all those shows, we probably sold 1 or 2 CDs at every one of them. We went to Harry Mary's in Des Moines, Iowa, and we sold a lot of CDs. We made a lot of money, probably more money than we made on the entire Strung Out tour to 500 to 1,000 people. We had probably 75 to 100 in front of us, and we sold probably 50 CDs.
Why is that?
Because people came because they liked what they'd heard. We'd played in Des Moines
a few times,
mm-hmm. and people. We played with bands who were receptive to what we were doing. When you are playing in a band that is put into a position where someone says, "We want this band because they're on your booking agency and we're on the same booking. You're gonna play with this band," regardless of what the band sounds like. If you get thrown onto a bill that doesn't necessarily stylistically connect with the audience of the main band, of the drawing band, it could just be like a fun little tour where you're going to play, but you're really not doing anything for your group. You're just going to play some shows and have a good time. We had a blast, but we weren't really connecting with people because there were people that wanted to sing along to rah melody punk rock music, and we're not that.
Yeah, I think that we signing with Leave Home and working with them was huge for us. I mean, that was a big deal. That was a major step forward in the band becoming, I guess, more self-sustainable, like in terms of money. Like we were being guaranteed money for shows, and it was able to keep us on tour without having to worry about whether we were going to get paid or not, or enough people were going to come, which was great. And I think that we were just kind of venturing into that realm of actually being paid to play music.
Sure.
And members had other aspirations, other wants and needs, and we kind of broke down at that point, which made it harder to make that commitment to Leave Home and let them know that we were going to be there to be on these tours and go out on the road. It just became more uncertain as when Curtis wanted to finish his bachelor's degree, for instance, and he left the band. And that's when sort of the new members and the rotating guitar spot kind of started. So we were just venturing into that realm. There are plenty of bands in Salt Lake that have made it past that point and are actually very successful. Bands like the one that immediately comes to mind, are Cult Leader, formerly Gaza. They're in a great situation on the right label with the right booking agents, everything. Like they're set for success, and they're doing really well. Eagle Twin, same thing. They are on the right label, right booking. They're playing with like bands, people that are going to like their type of music. I think we were sort of venturing into that realm, but still, the music that we played was a little too weird for.
We always did.
Most
we always
people.
had the best tours, best reception, best experience when we booked our own tours through people we knew.
Sure.
It was always better when we like made phone calls for 3 or 4 months, booking our own tour, meeting people, and like setting up the shows.
But I want to reiterate that no disrespect whatsoever to Leave Home and all of the work that they did for us. They're top-notch firm and do great work, and the people that work there are great. Stormy is amazing, and we so much appreciate what she did for us. And we just wish that maybe we could have been together longer to kind of maybe even work some of those kinks out to where we could have maybe even started having those types of shows under Leave Home. I think we just didn't have the legs under us.
We were
at the
unstable.
time. Yeah.
So I asked, I'm eager to ask this question. So on Twitter, I posted that I was going to be chatting with former Rocket for the podcast. I did get a response. I'm eager to hear this one. Ask them the story behind Dogfucker.
Dogfucker.
This sounds like this might be a more of a inside joke, maybe, or no?
It's an inside story.
The Twitter handle Bird Herder. I don't know. Do you know Bird Herder?
I don't know. I'm not engaged enough on Twitter, unfortunately.
Anyway, Dogfucker. I'm eager to hear this one.
So Dogfucker came around. Actually, its origins were a story that was told on a local band website called the Rock Salt.
I remember the Rock Salt band.
Yeah.
Is that still around? No.
It's no longer a website. There is a Facebook group. Us nerds, we like to still throw around. It's all a bunch of dads now, and very, very few musicians. Well, very few active musicians.
I should get in there, man.
You should,
and
yeah.
Even connect with some old musicians.
I'll send you an invite.
Please do.
It's
yeah.
a very exclusive group. They don't even let Ben in there. No. So, there was a story told, and I don't want to say who. I don't want to put them on blast, but I will say it was a member of the band Thunderfist.
Okay,
who was amazing and incredibly talented band. But they told this story on that website about a girl that they were dating when they were very young, took them, asked them to come hang out at their house and watch movies, and asked this person, hey, do you want to see a trick, or do you want to see something cool? And basically she coaxed her dog into having sex with her.
No shit.
Yeah, it was a real story.
Like the dog was having sex with this girl.
Yeah, it was one of the most disturbing things I'd ever heard, and so I couldn't help but write a song about it. Like it freaked me out so hard that I said I will write a song about this one day, and so that's where Dogfucker comes from. I had an opportunity. The band let me put one of my songs that I just written on the record, and I just felt that that story would be appropriate because it's a form of rocket and it's offensive and all the.
But that's what you guys were about. Pushing the limits, right? You were about just kind of getting out there. No.
I think Ben, for the most part, since he's older, even Tyler to some degree dealt with Curtis and my immaturity. That
is true.
And I think they were very patient and allowed us to, and still to this day, allow us to express ourselves and our incredibly juvenile sense of humor and political views, and to their detriment.
No, it's just fun to play with.
Here, pull that microphone back. Sorry. You can pull it back to you, towards you. Sorry.
It's just fun to play with these people that we've been jamming with for over a decade, and there's just a natural chemistry musically that is there. Yeah. I mean, between Tyler and myself, I always sort of thought of Form of Rocket as two teams that make a greater whole. I always felt like Tyler on drums and me on bass was just a big, massive, powerful rhythm section that created lots of energy and mood and vibe, and then you have on top of that Curtis and Peter, who really, on guitar and personality wise, they just connect.
Sure.
And they would just tangle their musical web together with guitars and spin some really neat sounds out of their instruments. So I think when you put all that together, that created what most people think of Form of Rocket as.
And honestly, we all four of us, Tyler, Ben, Curtis, and myself, we're best friends. I mean, we're best friends.
Still are.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Most definitely. I mean, we all, you grow up and things happen, you start families, jobs, all that stuff, which, changes things. But I mean, I'm Curtis's best man in his wedding.
That's awesome.
He and I are best friends. I see Ben and I still playing two bands together. Tyler and Ben and I play in Laverkin almost so we can see each other and hang out on a regular basis and play music together.
Yeah.
Which is what we all love to do. So I think that with this band, what makes it so cool for us is that it was sort of that special mix where not only did we really love the music that we wrote, and we're really proud of what we wrote, but we also just loved each other, and that never changed. I mean, and still hasn't to this day.
I want to before we get too far, just because we're going to be wrapping up here in a second, I want to play one more song and then come back. I have a few more questions I want to ask you. What song? I know there were 2 songs, right? Because there was one other song that we were going to play.
So we might as well play Keep Smiling, Ed Smart, since we're going to talk about being offensive and crude and awesome.
And is this where can people get this song? Is this going to be available at the Crucialfest as well?
Actually, this is on our 3rd album entitled Men, and it's available on Spotify, on the internet, and yes, we will have the album available in CD form
at Crucialfest.
Crucialfest at both shows.
Cool. All right, well, let's play this track, and I got a few more questions, and we'll wrap things up here with you guys. So hang tight.
everything's just as bad as it seems.
We didn't really get into the dates yet of when Former Rocket is going to be playing, because you're playing actually a couple of shows. Why a couple of shows? What made you decide to do that? Is there any reason, or it just is what it is?
Yeah, there is a reason. We always had a blast playing at Kilby Court back in the day. Kilby Court was sort of our little home base in a way. We'd go on tour frequently. We'd come back, and the last show of the tour, or the first show of the tour, would be Kilby Court. It was just like awesome to play there, and we wanted to be able to play a show, at least one show, where it didn't matter how old you were. And you could come see us play. So that's for that reason. For us, it's just kind of the cathartic idea of bringing back the past and playing at Kilby and having an all age show.
Some of our best shows, best memories ever are in Kilby Court. So I
love the place. I mean, that place holds a lot of memories in my head.
Well, and I think, we never know when these are going to happen or if they're going to happen ever again. So we just want to make sure, at least, for selfish reasons, that we, get to play these venues that, that mean a lot to us.
Sure,
at least one last time, in case it is that last
time. And it's Saturday, June 11th. It's actually part of the Crucial warm-up, they're calling it.
Correct.
So make sure to in Worst Friends.
We'll be playing with two great bands actually. Worst Friends
and Cicadas.
Baby Worst Friends and Baby Girl,
which I can vouch. Incredible bands.
Great band, great dudes.
Baby Girl is my favorite local band by far.
Excellent. And so and then the main show for Crucial Fest is going to be Friday, June 17th at Urban. Go to crucialfest.com and you can buy tickets for these shows individually, or just buy a wristband for all the shows. That way, because your other band is playing Crucial Fest as well, which I want you to plug.
Ben and I are in another band called Accidente with actually Josh Asher from New Transit Direction and Jaron Bischoff, who is Crucial Fest. We'll be playing on June 12th at the Metro Bar. With Valiant Thor, Hammer Fight, and Barlow.
Which that's why I was saying, just go get a wristband and come to all the
get a wristband, go to all the shows. Honestly, I went to almost all of the shows last year, and it's just fun. I mean, even if you're not into all the bands that you see, everyone's out and about. People that are into heavy music and into what's going on in Salt Lake. It's just fun being in that atmosphere and meeting new people it's
a good way to spend a weekend. Honestly, it's just you're going to go hang out and at a venue and talk to lots of people that you may or may not know, and you're gonna hear some music you like, some music you might not like. Like Peter said, you might not like as much, but it's just a fun, rare thing for Salt Lake City. So I think it should be taken advantage of. Get a wristband.
And this is a complete change of pace with Form of Rocket, but I got to ask this question because I ask it on every episode of I Am Salt Lake. If somebody was coming to visit Salt Lake City for one day, what would you tell them to check out or do? Like I hear different answers, areas of town or places to go check out. What would you recommend?
I'd say get up into the mountains.
Okay.
And check out some of the natural beauty that Salt Lake has to provide. I think it's probably the coolest part about Salt Lake City. I mean, there's parts of downtown, parts of the city, just like any other city that are cool. But really, what makes Salt Lake unique is its access to the outdoors. And get up into the mountains and go hiking, go to Snowbird, even ride the tram, just get up there and see what it's like. So that would be what I would suggest.
What about you over there?
I work for the Utah Office of Tourism.
Oh, do you really? Okay.
And basically, Peter just took away my whole parade right there.
Well, I work for Salt Lake City, and I should be saying, you should be going to restaurants and shopping, shopping in our downtown. And
I asked that. I want to hear. Okay, do you have another answer?
Well, when people call, and they ask me questions about where to go, what to do in Salt Lake City. One of my first questions is, what are you into? What do you enjoy? Why are you coming to Salt Lake City?
So people who are going to Crucial Fest, what do you think they would enjoy most in Salt Lake City?
If you're coming to Crucial Fest, you're already going to be in town anyway to see bands. If you have a little bit of time in the morning to go up to Snowbird and take the tram to the summit at 11,000 feet, God, I mean, there's not much to beat that.
Sure.
So I would do that. I would you go to the or if you're gonna bring in your mountain bike, the mountain biking trails around Salt Lake City are amazing. I ride them 3 or 4 times a week. There's just the thing about Salt Lake, like Peter said, is that you've got this urban area, and there is a music scene here. But what makes it super unique is the fact that we have access to amazing scenery and recreation like none other.
Sure.
Straight up. That's why I moved here. I moved here for snowboarding.
Sure.
And that was back in 1993.
And here you are, 2016.
Exactly. I'm still here, and I'm still finding new things in Utah.
Yeah.
I do love this part of the country.
Well, and that was going to be another question. I always like to plug local eating spots. Favorite local eating spots, man. What
man.
I mean, do you have any places?
There are a lot. I would say where I eat most often these days would be Sage's Cafe.
Great food, man.
On 9th South, and I want to say it's like 250 West, ish. Rye, right next to Urban Lounge.
Yeah. So when they come see you, go over to Rye, get some food.
Yeah, it's kind of perfect actually, and the food's great. And then if you're a fan of beer, I would definitely hit up Beer Bar. They have a great craft beer selection if you're into that. Also, the Beer Hive downtown. And then if you're also into beer and you want to try some local breweries, I would hit up Epic. Squatters and Proper, which just opened up on 850 South and Main Street.
I'm spacing the name of it right now, but the one on State Street and about about State Street and about
that's Epic, isn't it?
1400 South, 1300 South. No, it's like 700 South.
The Bayou.
The Bayou is great to try new beers too.
They got tons on tap, man.
Tons on tap. They from all over the world.
Yeah.
And if you like Middle Eastern food, the Bombay House is bomb. Straight up,
the Bombay.
The Bombay House is bomb.
Yeah, no, there's plenty of good stuff, but
well, there is, but you'd be surprised, and still, even friends that I come across are like, "Oh, let's go here," and I'm like, "That's a boring chain." There's so much good local food in Salt Lake City. Mm-hmm. Got to try it out.
Just venture downtown, go to Main Street. There's tons of local restaurants and bars, which is kind of a new thing for Salt Lake City and Main Street in the last 5 years.
It's been blowing up.
Yeah, it's actually a really fun time. So a lot of these venues are in and around a lot of these places. So you can grab food, go to a show, grab some drinks afterward. Make sure to ride public transit if you can. Or ride your bike. Yeah.
For so long, I drove past Sushi Burrito and thought, that sounds horrible.
Sushi Burrito. Try Sushi
That
burrito.
sounds horrible. The Sushi Burrito, that sounds horrible. I finally, I looked it up on Yelp and I saw all these positive comments. And I went in there and I tried a few of their rolls, and I was just blown away.
Pretty good stuff, huh? I still haven't been there because of that reason. Right. I was like,
it's not. It's cool. It's good. It's delicious.
No, the fish is fine. It's good, but make sure you have an appetite because they're big. Yeah. And I mean, can you imagine eating all that rice and fish and seaweed? It takes a healthy appetite. So make sure you're hungry.
We cannot. If we're talking about food, we cannot forget about the Middle Eastern place on 9th South. Maza. That place
is delicious.
It blows me away. Every time I go there, I feel like, wow, I'm glad I live in the same town that this restaurant is.
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
So good.
Agreed.
Anyway,
well, cool. That's, again, Saturday, June 11th at Kilby Court. Friday, June 17th at Urban Lounge. Check out Form of Rocket. I know you guys have a Facebook page. I don't know.
We are slow. We are so slow on the uptake when it comes to modern day marketing of a band.
Well, I mean, the band really doesn't. It's not really around.
No, so we haven't, unfortunately, haven't put a whole lot of effort. But yeah, our Facebook page is a great way to stay up to date on what we're doing.
If we're doing
anything at all, we hope down the line that we'll be able to release our other records on vinyl. So that may be coming down the line, maybe an additional pressing of this first record that we'll have at Crucialfest. So, like us on Facebook. That's the best way to keep
Come
track.
out to the shows, though.
And come out to the shows, come meet us. And well, we're going to have, T-shirts and all that crap that in case you want to buy any of that stuff. But
I got to get a T-shirt, man. I don't even have a T-shirt,
The design this year is pretty dope.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're excited.
Anything else you want to mention before we wrap this up then?
If you enjoy Form of Rocket and you want to see sort of where we're going now, at least a few of the members, check out a Leverkin and Accidente. So yeah,
and I'll put those links.
And Eagle Twin.
And Eagle Twin as well.
I'll put those bands' links at iamsaltlake.com with this podcast too, so people can check them out.
Cool. Yeah,
that way they can stay in touch with you guys and everything.
Yep,
absolutely. And go to Crucialfest, support Crucialfest. The fact that we are lucky enough to have a festival like this in Salt Lake City supporting heavy music
going 5 years strong now too.
5 years,
actually
six.
This is Crucialfest
6 years strong, and hopefully more to come. Jerem is a madman, and we're very lucky to have him and this festival in our town. So come out, support all the bands, go to the shows, and buy those wristbands.
What a great conversation with Peter and Ben there from Form of Rocket. You're going to want to check them out. They're going to be playing Saturday, June 11th at Kilby Court, as well as Friday, June 17th at the Urban Lounge. I know we chatted about it in this conversation, but I want to make sure you get on over to those shows. Check them out. It might be your last chance that you get to see Form of Rocket ever play here in Salt Lake City. Again, that's crucialfest.com. Buy your wristbands, buy your tickets right there, and I'll see you at Crucialfest. iamsaltlake.com is the website where you can go and listen to all the previous episodes. We also have a GoFundMe up there right now.
We do. We have a new GoFundMe.
This was actually Chrissy's idea. I'm going to blame this on you, Chrissy.
I'm a pusher, guys.
Well, just the other day I was complaining. I was saying, I don't know what to do. My laptop's about to go.
Every time he edits, the laptop crashes multiple times.
Yeah.
So it takes all day.
And I was like, well, I don't know. I mean, my day job, I have my own bills to pay. I have rent and car payment and all that. And so you're like, well, let's set up a GoFundMe. And I said, well, should we do that?
And I said, I'll do it if you don't.
Yeah. And so you did it. Yeah. And I'm thankful for you because, it really is, it gets really stressful to do this podcast. It really does. And so, we're trying to get some new podcast equipment, new computer stuff. We're going to need some new microphone stands, microphones, cables, everything. And so we have a little GoFundMe account. There's going to be a website or a banner on the website, right?
There is.
Chrissy?
If you just go to iamsaltlake.com, there's going to be a banner right on the front page. You can click on to go even donate $1. Yeah. Anything would help.
And there's some other great. I don't know what they are in front of me. If you donate, different amounts: $10, $25, $50, $100.
There's some kickbacks.
Yeah, like you can become a sponsor of the show.
Yeah. Or
we'll give you a shout out online. We're going to create kind of a wall of fame.
Yeah.
People that have been helping the podcast. We're gonna put them on iamsaltlake.com as well. Hey, but I don't want to talk about that GoFundMe anymore. I want to talk about. So today was the Gay Pride Parade here in Salt Lake City.
Yeah, and I've heard of it.
One of my most favorite parades. I love it. But it was your first time.
It was my first time, and it was my kids' first time.
Yeah, that's right. You took your kids.
We had my kids for the weekend
to the parade.
I did.
What did you think of it?
There's free candy.
What was your first impression of it? Honestly,
I loved it. Like people had so much energy. It was honestly just nothing but pure love. It was incredible, and it was really hot, but it was bright. It was a nice day. Everybody was like nice to everybody.
What was your thought though? Like the fact that it was here in Utah. I mean, not technically. Utah gets such a bad rap.
Oh, absolutely.
And then the fact that we have such an amazing.
We have a huge gay culture.
Yeah,
here.
Exactly, huge gay culture.
And like even the drag queen culture out here is phenomenal. I'm friends with some of them, and they're amazing performers. And great makeup artists.
Yeah. So, and we're going to put a bunch of pictures. I took a bunch of pictures, and Chrissy's the amazing webmaster. She does all the technical stuff at the website. You're going to put those pictures up. So head on over there, iamsaltlake.com. Check out all the photos that I took today. If you follow me on Snapchat, You got to see some of the pictures and videos that I posted there. I'm on Snapchat at I Am Salt Lake. You're on Snapchat, aren't you, Chrissy?
I am. I think I'm at Chrissy Shelley.
Is that your Snapchat name?
I believe it is.
Well, I know you don't post a whole lot on Snapchat, and I keep telling you, I keep wanting to, Chrissy, just add more, and I'm guilty of it. I'm not always super active on Snapchat.
Well, and I know you're right. That's the thing. I'm like, I know he's right. I know Snapchat is like the way of the future.
Yeah.
But I'm so lazy.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
It is. Hey, I want to tell the listeners about Lyft really quickly.
Definitely.
I know you're a big fan of Lyft.
Oh, I love Lyft.
It's a great way to get around Salt Lake City, great way to get to bars. Hey, if you need to head over to the airport, I know it's summertime. A lot of people are getting out of town. They need a ride to the airport. This is a great thing for the podcast listeners. What you're going to want to do, download the Lyft app on your smartphone. And then once you've downloaded it, enter in the promo code I Am Salt Lake, all one word. This is going to give you $50 in free ride credit, but you have to make sure to enter in that promo code before you request your first ride. That way, you get access to all those free ride credits. And
use them, man. Yeah. It's the summer. It is summer in Salt Lake.
And you want to get out, you want to go out drinking with your buddies on Friday night, take a Lyft. So anything else you want to mention, Chrissy? I know, some of the listeners are probably like, who's this voice?
Oh, should I tell people who I am?
Well, you're my girlfriend for starters.
I'm Chris's girlfriend, everybody.
Yeah, well,
hi.
And I know we chatted about it in a previous episode. We're going to be doing some stuff here in the world of I Am Salt Lake. Slowly but surely, you and I both have day jobs.
Right.
So it does make it a little difficult.
And we've kind of grouped together to become Team Salt Lake.
Team Salt Lake, I like it. So anyway, you can get in touch with us, Chris at IamSaltLake.com. Did you set up Chrissy at IamSaltLake?
I did. Chrissy at IamSaltLake.com.
Shoot us a message. Go check out the GoFundMe. I'm serious. I could use your help if we want to keep I Am Salt Lake going. I can't do this alone. Chrissy's helping me out.
I can't help that much.
Yeah, exactly. So check that out. You can also just go to IamSaltLake.com and, check out all the podcast episodes.
For sure.
Subscribe. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook. All of that is on the website. So anyway, that's going to do it. You all have a great week, and we'll see you again next time. Bye now.